guys, welcome back to another YouTube video from the car this week. Today I'm just gonna go through a little update on how this off season is going so far. We're currently at the end of 9 weeks into this push-up, so came off stage in October last year. Obviously went through health phase, everything like that, got my bloods done, started to kind of slowly increase body weight up, not too much as we kind of wanted to wait to start the push in the new year, which we did. So we are 9 weeks deep into this now. Body weight, yesterday I was 130 kilo, which was the first time I've got to 130 kilo ever in my bodybuilding career. So that was exciting. Back down this morning to 128.9, I think. So I knew body weight was going to go back down today just because of my different meals I have, training day, rest day, only having sorry, they just put a diversion on this motorway, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, body weight went back down today, which I kind of knew because of the different meals that I'm having. So we're kind of just working back up to 130 kilo really, and that was kind of one of our checkpoints that we had on the list for this off season, was to get to that body weight, and we got there, you know, without looking fat or chunky in a way. So, and we've done it. You know, I've still got lines on my quads. I've still got, you know, when I'm standing resting, I've still got a decent mid section. Everything's still in place and the lines are still there, which is what we wanted before we kind of started to push food up again. Food right now is fairly high, literally just touching 5,000, so nothing too crazy, nothing I haven't done before. You know, it's not too bad. I'm not, you know, suffering in any way, shape or form with food. It's a good amount of food where I feel very, very strong in training, very solid in what I'm doing in terms of training. So that's really good. Obviously that will slowly just increase over time as we move up. You know, nothing to shout about really there, but just to know that food is going to go up, and it will only just go up through this off season now. For us to even just to maintain my body weight now is like 5,000 calories. So to push up, obviously you have to increase your food. There's only one way to go about it, and that is to push food up if you want to continue to see progress. We haven't hit any sort of kind of bottleneck yet, which you want to try and mitigate as much as possible in an off season, is that bottleneck. As soon as you start to get towards that, whether it be digestion, whether it be just not hungry at all, whether it be plateaus in training, you want to stay as far away from that bottleneck as possible. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to continue this phase as productively as possible whilst keeping my body fresh, whilst keeping me hungry, keeping digestion good, you know, slowly increasing training and not doing anything too drastic in that sense. You know, progress is being made, so there's no reason for me to go do anything sporadic in terms of training and start, you know, adding plates on plates on plates. It's just about continuing to progress, which I am, you know, which is the one of the benefits of myself having a logbook, logging everything down. I can do it very, very slowly, but over a long period of time I've managed to build up my strength in a huge capacity. So that is one of the benefits of logbooking, is you can progress over a very, very long period of time and continue to progress week in, week out without really noticing any any lifts go up, if that makes sense. You know, because I'm only adding on, if I'm adding on loads to a machine or a plate loaded machine or barbell, it's always like, 1.25, 2.5, sorry, aside. So it's nothing that you really notice. And then it's just over a course of a number of weeks, increasing reps to get to the end of the rep range. So that I might stay on a certain load for a good 4 or 5 weeks before it goes up again. So you're not really seeing or feeling much progression, but when you look back in your logbook from the start of an off season, there's huge progression. 10, 20 kilo progression lifts on certain movements, and that's kind of what you're seeing. So progression's good in training, progression's good in food, progression's good in body weight. We're at a place now where it's only probably maybe next week or the week after we'll start to get slightly uncomfortable, which is where you want to be. It's where I want to be. It's prime position for me, because I know the work starts now. The work really starts now, when we're seeing body weights we haven't seen before, where we're seeing a physique in a position where we haven't seen a certain mass before. That's when the kind of work starts. That's when you need to turn it up a bit and start thinking, okay, now we're adding new tissue on. We are making a physique that hasn't been seen before from myself or something that Luke hasn't seen before. So for me, this is where the fun starts, where we start forming something completely different. Just the evolution of bodybuilding, of your career in bodybuilding as you just progress and progress. So this is kind of where this point starts for me now, is getting into those 130 kilos. I'd like to see a full week of 130 kilo at some point in the next few weeks. That would be great, just to know that my body is adapting to that body weight well, and we're able to hold that. But like I said, the need for that is more food. There's no way, what I just said on my story this morning, bringing it really back down to basics of bodybuilding. You can say it in one sentence. To push body weight up, you need more food, and that is literally it. If you're not progressing in your body weight, you're not seeing the scale go up, you need to eat more. The saying, eat big to get big, is kind of what you need to go down the route of. We see a lot of bodybuilders now, the pros for that matter, post a lot on the socials, and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people listen into these bodybuilders and take on what they're saying, and some of the people copy their workouts, copy their nutrition. But you've got to remember, these guys are at the pinnacle of their career, some of them at the end of their career with a few years left on stage. These guys are not pushing food to extremes, they're not pushing training to extremes, they're literally just ticking over because they have the mass, they have the size that they need to stand on a world-class stage and be top 5 in the world. They're not needing to pack on huge amounts of tissue, which is why you'll see when you watch their full days of eating, watch their training, they're not pushing things to the extreme. They don't need to. They're literally just getting the finite details in of their physique from what the judges are saying. Some of them might just need better condition. Like I could talk about Samson, probably has the size he needs to win an Olympia. He has the size he needs. He doesn't need to go back home into an off season and think, okay, I need to increase my food to this amount. He's done that in the past. He's at the point now where he's got the size, he needs to work on condition. So it's literally just about staying in his position where he's in striking distance of shows, 12, probably his longest prep would be 12 weeks out, where he'd start bringing food down. But what I'm trying to get at is, when you watch these videos of the pros, you watch these videos with Samson, don't copy. You are nowhere near, I'm nowhere near his level, so we can't think about our training and our nutrition in a way that Samson does. You can't really copy what he is doing. If you're at a point where you need size, you need to push your food up. You need to do that. You need to go back and maybe go back a few years in Samson's YouTube and watch what he's doing in that point to put on size. Don't look at him, what he's doing now, and copy what he's doing now. or copy his training for that matter. You know, Samson trays heavy. I know I'm like pinpointing Samson, but it's just an example. Don't copy Samson's training. You know, he's not at a point now where he needs to add serious amounts of size, so he's not going to be doing these crazy lifts with a lot of load, because he's just going to get injured. He's very much, from what I've seen over the past year or so, he's very much more a volume trainer. Yes, he still deals with a lot of load, but you know, I'm on the Atlantis press, for example, I'm pressing more than Samson is. And he's working with very, very much more load, more volume, and fairly lighter loads. You know, he's working with Milos, so he's doing a lot of giant sets. He's not having to push the loads too far. He's trying to bring out the condition, which requires a lot of volume, which requires a lot of repetitions, which doesn't require too much load. There is a point in your career where I'm at now, where I feel I need to push my body in terms of having it take on certain poundages in the gym. You know, stiff legs, Smith shoulder press, Atlantis press, hip press, hack squat. These things which are going to build my physique, they do need to be increased in terms of load. So what I'm kind of getting at is stay in your lane. You know, your journey is your journey. What you need to do to put on size is what you need to do. It's not going to be the same as what Samson does. It's not going to be the same as what Hadi does, even though Hadi squats 7 or 8 plates fucking 2 weeks out, which is nuts. But we can't get sucked in to social media and think we need to copy these pros who are at the pinnacle of their career. If you're just starting up, maybe you've just done a few shows like I have. I'm very much at the start of my career. I can't be copying what Samson's doing. I can't be copying what these pros are doing, because it's just not going to get me anywhere. It's I haven't got the physique where I can do what they're doing. If I was, you know, at Samson's level, maybe I'd take a few tips from what Samson's doing, and maybe it might work with my physique if I was at that stage. But I'm not. I'm still at the kind of foundations of what I need to do. And what I said in my story before was just mastering the basics. We all know the basics work. They work. That's all we need to know. We don't need to start doing all these fancy different things with bodybuilding. If you want to put on size, being in a calorie surplus, pushing body weight up, progressing in the gym, training hard with intensity on a consistent basis, all those things on a consistent basis, making sure you're getting your recovery in, enough recovery in to recover from sessions and feel fresh from sessions, keeping some form of cardio in the off season. Personally, I'm doing 2 sessions of 20 minutes a week, which is hardly anything, but it's ticking me over, it's keeping me in good shape, it's keeping the heart healthy, all those good things. Make sure you're getting some sort of form of steps in during the day, you know, 10-minute walks between meals, just to aid in digestion. And I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, ticking boxes on the daily. Consistency is king. We all know that. And just making sure you're doing these basics consistently every single day, and you will start to see progress. It's all about mastering your craft, and that's all I've wanted to do in this bodybuilding is become a master of something. I've never been great at something in my life. I've always been decent. You know, I've always been all right. All the sports I played when I was a teenager, when I was younger, I was always good at like all sports. I was always decent. I was always in the team for the sports. I was always a decent player, but I was never great. I was never one of the best. And this is something that I want to master, because I have pretty much complete control over it. And it's something I really want to get really, really good at. And like I said, become a master at your craft is something that you can take away, you know, without talking about stage wins, without talking about pro cards, without talking about Olympia. If you can master something and become just all round very, very good at something, that is something to be proud of, and it's something to take away. And if you work on something day in, day out for a period of time, you're going to master it, you know. and that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now, and what I've always kind of wanted to do was just be great at something, and I believe this is something that I can do that in, and I'm seeing myself do that as well. So I just wanted to update, even though that was probably a huge ramble about whatever is going on my mind at the moment. It's you know, there's not much to update in terms of this off season. If you're aware of what off season entails, you kind of know what's going on. We're just pushing food up. We're trying to pack on as much tissue as possible, and doing that, we're increasing food, we're progressing training, and making sure I'm recovering well. And it's pretty much the same on a day-to-day basis. I have my training days, I have my rest days. At the moment, I'm still training 4 days a week, which is going really well actually. In terms of like my recovery between sessions is really good. I haven't got to a stage where I'm feeling exhausted by anything, which is a really good sign, and it just means training's in a good place. We did actually start, when I started with Luke, we started with a 4-day split. We then went up to a 5-day split, and now we're back down to a 4-day split, implementing that. And I feel like the less, you know, sometimes we hear less is more in bodybuilding, which I think is true. The more recovery you can get, because, you know, we grow outside the gym, we don't grow in the gym. So the more kind of specific work I do in the gym, the better. The more recovery I take outside the gym, the better, the more I'm going to progress, which we're seeing, you know, which has been very good. You know, the more time I can spend eating and resting, the better. And, you know, I just make sure that when I am in the gym, it's as tense as I can bring training. I'm working as hard as I can work at that time, and that's all I can really do. You know, making sure the logbook's progressing in a certain way, making sure lifts are going up, making sure that mind to muscle and all that execution stuff's improving, which it is, I'm seeing, and just continuing on this journey. So I'll probably do another update in another 10 weeks, just to let you know what's going on. I'm just kind of, the reason for this video is I'm waiting for my microphones to turn up. I'm sick and tired of doing YouTube videos where I'm having to shout, where I'm having to hold the camera this close to my face in the gym. I just want to kind of, I did one video, if you remember back, I did a shoulders session, which was, I really enjoyed filming that, just from the point of having the microphone here and just being able to talk normally and just be able to say what's on my mind. I actually probably talked more than I do normally in a YouTube video, because it's kind of, it's not the best content when I'm kind of shouting and stuff. I kind of just let the training do the talking and stuff, but I like talking during training. I have a lot of things that run through my mind which can be good information for people watching, and I want to relay that in a natural way. I will be back with some better content, some better quality content as well with the microphones, so stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed this little update, just an update of what I'm doing, nothing special. Off season, a long off season, which it will be. So appreciate you guys following along on here. If you aren't already, go to my Instagram, make sure you're following along on there. That is just daily updates on training, physique updates. We're starting to do some more reels and stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to go over there, henry.taylor, I'll be on there every single day, updating on stories, posts, whatever, but I'll continue doing the weekly videos on here. Next one will probably be a training or a full day of eating, so I'll see you then. Thank you guys again, see you soon.